Welcome back to another episode of Authentically Divine. I'm Alyssa Davis. I'm your host, and as always, I hope everyone's having a great week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I just want to be showing my expression of gratitude towards you because this is just, again, one of my passions. I'm having so much fun with this, and I'm really glad that you are here. If you are new here, because I never want to assume that you have been constantly listening, we're about 16 plus episodes in now, so if you are new here, welcome. This is going from self-help to his help, aka this episode and all episodes of this podcast glorify our Father, and his name is God. And if you've never been introduced to God, I hope and I encourage that these episodes lead you to him. So each week, as you know, if you are a valued listener and you come here often, I talk about a health and wellness product that I use in my own house, and the reason being is I've had health issues in the past. I choose clean products to put on my body, in my body, on my body, all the nine, in my house, everything. So I wanted to just go over, winter's coming for me, so I have, I have a whole bunch of different clean organic chapsticks, and that's where I'm going to take the lead for today. So one of my favorites, and the only thing that actually feels like it's moisturizing after switching over to clean products was vanilla mint. It's Just Ingredients, and as always, I'm an advocate for Just Ingredients. I love her products. I love her brand. I love her statement. She has everything from protein powder all the way to now magnesium supplements and a bunch of different things, but I always feature her because I love Carolyn. I love her products. They speak for themselves. But the Just Ingredients, vanilla mint, and it's the chapstick. It is made out of organic jojoba oil, organic beeswax, vitamin E, and organic essential oils and extracts. So clean ingredients. Then I've got, and the label is kind of messed up, Fontana Essentials. So Fontana started off by making candles, clean candles. So I have switched over. They started making a lip balm, and this one is fresh mint and lime. And the first ingredient is coconut oil. And we're looking at some lime peel, grapefruit peel, citrus, but otherwise it's essential oils. I can't see that because the product got weighed down in my purse. And the next thing is, this is a local made product. You can find, if you go to any local farm or you go to a farmer's market, they are selling homemade chapstick, lotion, those types of things. So this one is by the brand called Nosh, and it's the honey milk is the flavor or the type. And it's organic plant-based, so organic olive fruit oil, candelilla wax, organic coconut oil, organic shea butter, organic palm fruit oil, organic jojoba seed oil, rosehip seed oil, vitamin E, sunflower seed oil. It's just a bunch of oils, but then we have organic neem seed oil, organic rosemary leaf extract, organic sunflower seed oil, honey, and organic flavoring, like an organic type of essential oil it could be. But yeah, I just wanted to give you 3 different options because it's important that we are hydrating in the winter. It's important that we're hydrating just in general. And I also just want to give a shout out because I don't typically talk about this other than the first episode, but a shout out to my friend Noah. He goes by Nosh. He is the one that started the intro music and the outro music. And I just have to say, finding community and creative talent in your area, and for him to have been aiding in the process of my podcast, shout out to him. He made a whole song out of me requesting for his assistance because I did not know how to do this, but he made a whole song. It's on SoundCloud. I'll add it. I have it in the links for every single episode because honestly, you need to hear it. He made a song out of my intro and outro. It's so cool. But yeah, shout out to him. He goes by Nosh. He is an EDM artist, and he's going to make it big one day, and we can help him. So, context today. This is something that I really wanted to discuss. It's been on my heart for a little bit, and it's not popularized. What I'm going to be talking about today is not popular. It is not common. It is something that is definitely rare in today's society, but I want to talk about it. And it's all for good reasons that it's not so popular. It's not so common, and you have to look to find it. But I have good news. As always, there's a way you can find this. So I first off started mentioning about community, right? Noah. His name's Nosh on SoundCloud. Go find him. But he is a part of my community. So as I started my podcast, I looked for community to help aid in anything that I needed assistance with. If it was a question about how to use photography stuff or equipment, things like that, I have community that I reach out to. And we as Christians, we as followers, we are as believers of Jesus Christ, we are called to set the standard and put things in motion. That community is vital to our survival as Christians. I'm going to kind of go back and forth. So we're going to talk about how regular community is regular community without faith versus community that involves, believers and fellow Christians and what we are called to do in that context. Now, my dad and I were talking about this yesterday. It was funny because he said that there's a quote, and him and his friend at work talk about this. He will see if there's 2 or more people that are gathered, usually they start to have picket fences and they start having signs and they start rioting or they start protesting, right? That's someone quoted that somewhere, and my dad and his friend will laugh because they will notice that people that are in groups tend to all do the same thing, right? We've all heard the saying, you are who your friends are. We've all heard that before. And who you are is who you hang out with. Who you hang out with is who you become, those types of things. So in that context, that is what regular community is. Just community in general. What you do with your friends, how you act, that is, the way that they act, that is how you are. It's a reflection of you, and it's a reflection of them. And community being community along the lines of someone that you're passing by even as a part of your community, but we tend to forget that that is also a part of our community. So I want to just go into different types of community and give good understanding of why I'm going to be talking about the last portion of this as Christian community and why it's so important to have. But regular community, it's great. You do as a society, we as a society are finding the comforts of community via online and it is not in-person interactions anymore. It is accessible. We're able to find like-minded people so easily online, so easily in different avenues. You could find someone that loves healthy eating and loves working out in this way on social media so easily. And you can connect with them and you can be friends with them and do this and that and the other. And they may be on the whole other side of the country. That in one way is a community. You're able to find community. A lot of small businesses will tend to create a Facebook group so everyone has the support in a certain area of whatever they're struggling with or something along those lines, where they can meet up on the chat or post a question on there and look for community to help them and guide them. And that's great. But there's the other part of it that everyone has community that's in person. Your mom, your dad, your family members. If you don't have a mom, it's your friend. If you don't have, it's your neighbor. Everyone that you bypass throughout your life is a part of your community. We are all interconnected. And I was very much reminded of this when I had gone on an airplane recently. I flew to Dallas, and I absolutely love Dallas, okay? I've never been there. My family lives there, and I went and just fell in absolute love with Dallas. If you live in Dallas, I'm so jealous. My heart, a piece of my heart is left there, so I just have to say it. But the community. I'm on a flight to Dallas, and God reminded me, everyone is community. You don't get to just do what you want, As Christians, we are called to just be a part of the community. And I had wanted to listen to my headphones. I wanted to just tune out for the 2-hour flight. And this woman next to me, we just start hitting it off. I've never talked to a stranger for 2 hours. And while we're sitting next to each other on a flight, seriously. And we sat and hit it off for 2 hours. She was my mom's age. I introduced her to my mom, who was also on the flight. I introduced her to my family. I love this woman. Shout out you, Trish. But she probably will never see this. But at the same time, because of the fact that it's heavy to talk about, but there was a friend of mine that had taken his life recently. And this is where my need to voice to the people, to you, to my friends, to everyone, you are a foundational part of the community. And so often we are feeling so much in our mind that we don't understand that we are important to someone. We are, like, if you could have just seen the people that were there to celebrate his life, and, it's just, if he had seen that, my wish would be that he would have been able to know that he was loved. But so often there are things going on in our mind, trials, tribulations, work, friends, like there's the stress of money, children, trying to make ends meet. Your car broke down, everything, like small things too. It can make you feel like you are not cared for and you are not loved. And I want to emphasize and put this into the world and put this into your heart and your ears that you matter and you are a vital importance to our community. Everyone felt this of his passing. Everyone. And people that, haven't seen him in 10 years felt it. People that used to be his best friend or was his best friend or is his best friend at the time, or, whatsoever. People in passings, teachers of his, like everyone in the area feels that. It is so painful to think that someone felt they weren't loved in this world, that they didn't have importance. And I just want to emphasize the fact of you are literally a part of this community. What you feel is what I should be feeling. What you feel is what they should be feeling. Everyone should be working together to help each other. And the importance of community is more than just, oh, I'm going to hang out with my friends again. Like, we're just going to sit around and do nothing. It doesn't matter. You have community. You have people. And sometimes people forget that they are appreciated and loved and desired because this world is just speeding by and so fast and trying to rush to the next outcome. And if you have 5 minutes, just throw this on. I'm in 15 minutes in, but if this is like the loudest part of the message, I just want it to be that I love you and you are so vital to the community. Although you think that you are just walking by someone and they don't care about you, that smile that they shared to you shows that they care. That glance, everyone is a part of the community, and I want the precedent to start being that you smile at the person that walks by you. You hold the door for the person that's behind you. You don't give a dirty look to someone that's passing. Like, everyone needs to get out of their heads and start living, because you living in your head is only going to hurt you. And that's what happened. He was so upset in his mind and was needing help, and it seemed to him that he wasn't of importance to anyone, that he was better off gone from the earth. And that is never the case. Never the case. It's heavy. But this is where we have to stop thinking that you only need social media community. You need in-person community. You need the feel of someone's hug or someone's handshake or someone's conversation, someone asking you, how are you? I'm calling us again to go higher, to set a new standard. This, where everyone just gets together and sits down and doesn't talk about how their day was or how they're feeling or something that they're struggling with. Instead, we're sitting down and we're gossiping about each other. We're ready to talk about nothing but just drink alcohol and put it all away to the wayside, when really we as humans are called to feel, and we are called to speak, and we are called to love each other and show that community is all residing inside of us. And you are important. I can't tell you how many times I've been in groups of people, especially now being a Christian, that I am going into groups of people that are non-believers, and they just sit. They don't ask how anyone's doing. They don't ask how you're feeling. They don't ask if you're struggling with anything. They don't ask if I can help in any area. And it blinds a lot of people. So I want to just like take that away. I want to remove the blinders off of you, the sunglasses that are so dark that you cannot see. I am calling us. We need community. We need to understand the importance of being around one another. We need to understand the importance of communicating, seeing each other in person, doing the things that we love, doing things that make us feel good and know that they are good. This gossipy, like the time that we're sitting together and we're sitting and spending it talking about someone else, I know that that's not right, and you know it's not right. You know it doesn't feel good. You know that you walk away from that feeling like you're prideful, like you have this big ego. But really, what benefit of a conversation was that? Because you're left empty otherwise, and that goes away. It goes away. It's not this fulfilling feeling that lasts for days, that lasts for weeks, and it's this solidified idea that you are loved. Instead, it's this ego-driven feeling that you literally just boosted yourself up by talking and putting someone else down, and then you got to do it again multiple times this week because of the fact that none of that conversation was fulfilling. None of it was actually beneficial to your soul. None of it was beneficial to yourself or your friend. Why take your friend down with you? Speak life. Speak life. Do not speak death upon one another. You know, if you have a friend that's struggling, why are we just not even talking about it? I want us to stop being afraid to ask if your friend is okay. Because I've been in friend groups where it's like all hush hush, and it's like, instead of asking how they're doing, we're like aiding them into removing their feelings from everything and getting them drunk or getting them high or doing drugs further or completely just dismissing the fact that they're struggling, and you see it, you visibly see it, and you're like, oh, let's just keep going the way that we're going because that's all you know. Well, I'm calling you to know something different. This is so important. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, community is on there. Brother, community is on there. It's not I. Like, we see that is one of the lowest aspects of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, psychological hierarchy of needs. But everyone that's taken Psych 101, you know that. You need community. You need to be accepted. You need to be heard. You need to be seen. And what are we offering to the people around us? Are we offering any of that? No. Half of us are just blindly walking through the day. And I get it. I'm not blaming you. This life is hard. It's hard when you don't have God, is what I really mean. It's hard when you don't have faith that there is something greater taking care of you. And God is a part of community. God is the community. God created community. As a society, if you want to do better, start with asking your friends regular questions. Hey, haven't heard from you in a little bit. You came to my mind. I just want to make sure you're okay. Do you know what that would do for someone that is struggling and cannot get out of their head, and they see a text from you pop up? Like, whoa, someone cares. And it's not to be putting you on a pedestal. This is something we should all be doing. It should be the precedent. But it's not. Because we're all so self-centered. My goodness, I talked about it in my last episode, the self-centric reality that we're all living in. As if we're wearing those VR eyeglasses, right? Where they blind you and you can only see what's going on in the game. That's what we are as a society right now. We're putting on the VR glasses where it blocks out everything, and all we're seeing is our reality that really is a video game. Like, it doesn't actually exist. When you put those VR glasses on and you're residing in your own world, that is not actually real. It's fake. It's virtual reality. You're living in a virtual reality if you cannot see the importance of checking in on your friends and seeing them and confirming them and affirming who they are and your love for them and appreciation for them. If you took the glasses off, that's all it is. All this life is being blinded and not being reminded that there is a different way to go about things. Those VR glasses, you know what you can do with those? You literally can exist in that world now. They have devices where you can walk and just keep talking and walking outside. And look at it, that's not safe is what I'm meaning to say. It's not safe. That's not safe to think that you're the only one that exists in this world. You know what happens when you believe that you're the only one that exists in this world? You fall. You fall down hard, and you don't get back up very easily. Now, I know my God will pull you out. If you look to him, my God will pull you out. But on your own, in that type of environment where you're just living a virtual reality, you got those glasses on, you're not seeing the people around you, you're not seeing your importance of being around those people, and you're not seeing their importance for you. Whoa. And listen, I got this tone today because of the fact that I had to see someone that I love in my community fall. And no one knew what to do. Everyone's hurting. And I have a higher power. I have God to look and cry to and pray about everything and all the pain and the suffering that we're all dealing with the loss of one of our own community members. But my friends don't. But this is why I don't want us to just pretend that the other person next to us or on the bus across from us doesn't matter. We all matter. And it's time we start treating each other like we do. It's time we start seeing the value that everyone has. The pain of everyone suffering from that loss, from my friend, from our friend, from someone's boyfriend, from all of that. When someone goes down like that and we can't pick them up, how did we get to this point? And that's one big aspect about it is we have to understand that community is vital to our survival. This virtual reality has got to go. You got to set limits on that idea that you are the only one that's living in this earth. And if you see someone that's living that way, try to help them out. Invite them to do physical activity. Invite them to put away their phone. Invite them to have a conversation. There's a guy that I have in my family that I don't get along with otherwise. I don't know. We are two very different people, right? But I can ask him, oh, what interests are you taking a part in right now? Oh, how was this? How did you do with that? Showing care for someone else's well-being and showing care for someone else's, adventures or the things that they delight in. Even if it's, something so simple. Other people would shy away from it. Oh, they don't like to talk or they just sit on their phone. Well, break it. Break the chain. It's imaginary. The chain that's right there is fake. Go and talk to that person. He's a person. You're a person. We're all human beings. This idea that, if someone's struggling, we can't intervene and ask them. They get upset. Well, I don't care if they get upset. Someone needs to ask them, how are you doing? Or I want you to know that I love you. Even if you don't want to break the box and go into their brain and, super dissect everything, say I love you. I miss when we used to do this. Something with compassion in your heart. It doesn't have to be that you're calling them out hey, put your phone down, we're at dinner. No, talking to them and just saying, it all starts with the structure of society, and that's where it's people create the structure of the society. So as a result, here I am. I want to voice it to you loud and clear. We are the ones that make the change. Technology is going to keep getting greater and greater and greater and keep pulling us further and further and further from each other. And we have to know when to take a stand. And now is the time, before it gets any worse. Before people literally think that they are living on an island on their own, that the gas that they pump at the gas station doesn't come from miles and miles away by truck. One person drove that truck all across the country from picking it up all at the other end of the country, and to think that they can supply things on their own. Or the grocery store, all the food that came in was handled by multiple millions of hands to get it to the grocery store, every piece. And we don't think about things like that. The gas that's at the gas station, it just is there. No, it was driven across the country to get here, pumped by one person into the gas station, owned and operated by that man that owns the gas station, or the worker that was working there allowed the person to come in and start doing it. It's like there's pieces in every single part of our day, of our structure. We are all one. Man, I'm getting passionate up in here, so. But this leads me to a great aspect. And I had to write some notes because I looked at Bible verses today to emphasize my point. But this brings me, because I said we are one. We are one. As God created us, we are one. And I want you to start thinking, like, the next time you're driving your car, think about all the hands and the machines and the workers and the people that employed that job to get the car together. And think about how many hands were a part of that, to build that, to put that even on the lot, the person that was selling it to you, the bank that gave you the loan, the bank, like everything, the person that drove you, or yourself that drove you, or your friend that drove you there, or whatever, so may it be. We're intrinsically connected. You can't do this life alone. And if you see someone thinking that they're doing this life alone and they are feeling the heaviness of that, reach out. They're depressed, ask them if they need you. Can I make you a meal? It doesn't have to be like, can I help you? What can I help you with? If they don't even know, make them food. Go and get them food. Give them a gas card. You don't have to give. You can go and sit with them. You can go and do something that gets them out of their mind. And it's just something that we have to be more aware of, and understand. That's discernment. And that's understanding and looking at, it's intuition too. You intuitively can see and feel when someone is struggling. Listen to that feeling. Don't just put it to the side and be like, okay, yeah, I saw that they were hurting. They're my best friend, but they don't like to talk about stuff like that. So often are we doing that and hearing that. But they don't want to talk about it because they can't form words because they're so in their mind. Break it. It's so crazy that we think that we can't touch on that subject with our best friends. But yet our best friends can come do drugs with us and just make it seem like nothing's wrong. Or our best friends, we can just get them drunk and we don't visibly see what's wrong. We can only medicate them. We can't talk about it. No, ask them what's going on. Give them a basis. Even, just sharing your own struggle will start to make someone else feel like they can relate to you. Or maybe your friend will open up, or maybe not that time, but at least they were around you. At least they were made to feel that they were special. At least they were made to feel seen. At least they were made to feel heard. Truly, we really do need to make a change. Because no one, and I pray and I cry over this all the time, that people feel that way about themselves, that they don't have importance. We have to stop allowing that to be a feeling that someone has. Show them love. And I encourage you, it's not going to be easy to start having these conversations or to try to be helpful to your friend, but it's effective. Because imagine if you didn't. You don't want that. Your friend is important. You need to make them feel important. You need to make them feel seen and heard, loved and appreciated. But I wanted to dive back into where I said we are one. We, as Christians, Christian community, and this is why I love Christian community so much, and why we truly are to be set apart. And I want everyone to be a part of this with me. So in the journey of becoming a Christian and laying my life down, wearing my cross and walking with Jesus and giving my life to God, I have took the time to spend on my own, and I didn't have Christian community to start. I want to let everyone know I did not have it at the beginning of my journey. I had my boyfriend, I had my mom, I had friends here and there. I didn't have I do have Christian community, but in person is very different. I have my boyfriend, so he's in person with me, of course, but in the time that I was starting my journey, I was sitting with God and I was like, wow, I see what you say in the Bible. I see that it says we are called to have community and we are to help one another and we are to pray for one another and we are to confess to one another. But I'm like, I don't have it right now. 1 Corinthians 12. So for Christian community, we are told in the Bible this: for as the body is one and has many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ. 1 Corinthians 12, verse 14. For the body is not one member, but many. If the foot says, because I am not the hand, I am not the body, is it therefore not the body? So this is saying for society, like exactly what I had just mentioned, that person in the VR virtual reality glasses where they're saying like, I'm the foot. I'm not the hand. Like, I'm not a part of this community. I'm not a part of this body. Like, yes, you are. We as a community are a body. Each part of your body, like each finger, which there's 10 fingers, there's 10 toes, there's 2 feet. It's like each person signifies being a part of the body. So if someone's like saying to themselves, like, no one cares about me, no one likes me, I'm not loved, like, and I'm starting to feel depressive in this way, here's a reminder. You are a part of the body. No matter if you feel that you're not loved, it's like the foot saying, I'm not the hand, so why does it matter? You are a part of the community. You are part of the body. You are part of one. We are one together. The importance of community with Christ is understanding that we all operate together as one, and you truly feel that being a part of a Christian community. For context, I just said how I had been praying. I was like, I don't have any Christian friends. I had a couple of people, but I didn't have like a group where I could like just sit down and girls that like a girl group, a girl friend group where you're just enjoying talking about God, and it's so beautiful. But randomly, a girl I went to high school with, who's now like my best friend, she had reached out to me, and twice. The first time I didn't really even see it. I just like bypassed it. The second time she reached out, she was asking for me to get together with her and just talk about our love of Jesus together. And she was like, I see you're on fire for the Lord. Like, I'm also on fire for the Lord. Like, let's just talk about it, see where we're at. That one interaction that her and I had, we had spent literally walking so fast and talking for like a couple of hours, and I didn't want it to end. It was like, wow, this is like solidifying my love of Jesus. Like, this is like, my heart was like on fire. And that one interaction with her, by saying yes and like meeting up with her, we have a girl group of 7 of us now that meets like multiple times a month. We have different people coming in. We have things moving, and God is just so good. But I want to emphasize and talk about truly how beautiful it is, because I want it to be something that you look at and you're like, I yearn for that, because that was me. I was sitting there learning about Jesus, learning about God, learning about all the Bible scriptures and gospels. And, I see the emphasis on community. I see the importance, but, God was refining me to be able to step out. But I want to say, like, godly community will change your life, because we're called to be set apart and set the standard to be something that is what I mentioned, like checking on your friends and asking them how are they. So I'm going to go into the details, but I just have to say how beautiful it is, because it is something that as a society we should all have. That was what the standard should be when God created us as humans, like this type of love for one another. And that's all it is. It's love for one another, and removing that love from just pouring into yourself to being able to like pour it into other people and also yourself, but forgetting about the importance of it just being you. It's the understanding of taking that virtual reality headset off and seeing, oh, my neighbors exist. Like, this is a part of who I am, is being a part of who they are. But the importance of community, Jesus, I love the book of Matthew. First of all, the book of Matthew is where Jesus gives us the understanding of how we are to be as Christians, amongst other things. But this is so important, and probably my favorite book of the Bible, the book of Matthew. He says, ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing but to be cast out, to be trodden under the feet of men. So I want to dive in what that means. So you are the salt of the earth. So you are the salt of the earth, meaning you season the earth. You give it flavor. You give it savor. You are the salt of the earth. And as a community, God is calling us. Remember, we're all part of the body. You're the foot and I'm the hand, or you're the toe and I'm the foot. Like whatever it may be, we are together what's called the salt of the earth, meaning we give flavor, we give zest. We are, if you can kind of have an understanding, and Philip Anthony Mitchell gave this reference, so shout out to him. I love his preaching and he is anointed. If you need good gospel and you need good conviction and you need to be called out, I guarantee you he's the one you want to listen to. But shout out to the digital disciples like myself. But I want to say that Philip Anthony Mitchell gave the reference for when Jesus said you are the salt of the earth. He is meaning you are essentially like a seasoning to the world. So you give it flavor, you set it apart. And imagine like the earth being like a steak. If each person in the Christian community is salt of the earth, you can't season the steak alone. You would be one grain of salt on that steak. And you know who's going to eat that? Not me. I like my steaks salty and peppery and oh my gosh. But that's besides the point. It's because I haven't eaten dinner. What Jesus is saying here is that we are the salt of the earth. You can't season a steak alone. You have to have community. More salt makes the steak saltier. You can't do 1 grain. You can't do 2 grains of salt. You got to have like a lot of salt on there, right? So what he's saying is we are one. We are the salt of the earth. And you can't be just doing it on your own, especially as a Christian. So this is more so to those believers, the believers that have the understanding of self and they know God exists. They've given Jesus their heart, but they're not walking in obedience to this. And Jesus is calling us. You have to have community. You cannot do this life alone as a Christian without community. Community being in person, being around other people, being around other believers who can speak life into you, who can pray for you, but I'm going to go into details. So after saying that you are the salt of the earth, and if it lost its savor, so if we don't have Christian community also giving us salt to salt that steak, we're going to lose the flavor. We're going to lose the essence of being a Christian. We're going to lose the flavor, the savor, the salt, the importance of it. And the preservation of being a Christian relies on having salt, aka community, more seasoning, more plugged in with the Christian community, more people. And we have to work together. We are in union. We are one body. So that is the importance of that. It is thenceforth good for nothing but to be cast out, to be walked all over by men, if it does not have salt, if we've lost the flavor. We are literally worth nothing to the kingdom of God, to heaven, because we can't do it alone. This is so important. Truly, I want to have the understanding for you that this is a prophetic way to say that you are not alone. You have people around you, and there's people that want you to be included into their Christian community because they need community, and they need the salt, they need the savor, they need to season the earth. You can't do it alone. You have to separate yourself from that virtual reality that the rest of the world is wearing, those glasses that like you can't see anything around you but your own life and your own foot walking and your own self and your own everything. You have to be able to take those off and recognize that you need community. Everyone needs community for strength, especially in the importance of being a Christian. You are called to be set apart. But that doesn't mean set apart where you're alone. Jesus tells us we can't do that. And look at Jesus, he even had community. He had his 12 disciples that came with him everywhere. And they helped each other to be higher. And they shared their knowledge with one another. And they went and Jesus picked 12 of them. It's because you need community. Literally, the more salt, There were 12 of them. The more salt, the better the flavor, the better the seasoning. That steak with 12 grains of salt is better than 1 grain of salt, right? That group of 7 that I have is better than my just 1 grain of salt on there. That steak is not going to be eaten if there's 1 grain of salt. It's going to be stepped over by feet of men if it's just me that's seasoning that salt. It's going to be walked over because you're not strong enough to do it on your own, is what God is saying. Jesus said to us that we have to have community to be like flavor, to have the power to give our gifts to one another and to be a part of this life, to see the beauty in it, to be reminded that we are not alone. And we have to be together. We are one body. Further to emphasize this too, for community, Christian community, it's so beautiful. I'm going to read this. James 5, verse 16. Confess your faults, which is sins, to one another and pray for one another that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. Okay, so I want to dive into that. James 5:16. Confess your sins to one another and pray to and for one another so that you can be healed. This is again an emphasis of community and Christian community, why I love it so much. Instead of that worldly friendship that's like, let's just get drunk, not even like discuss our problems or how we're feeling or, anything that's been changing in our lives. Like we just go past that and we're like, let's just get drunk or let's just gossip about this person. Let's just watch TV. Let's just watch TikToks. Like, you know what? No, Christian community is what's going on in your life? How are you feeling? Is there something that I can pray for you about? Is there something that I can do to help you in the next journey of your life that you're being called to do? Is there something I can do to support you in this moment? Is there a word? Can I affirm you? These are literally the questions that I sit in my group of friends and we're like, what can I do to help you? Like all of these episodes that I'm speaking about and saying like how you can be a better friend, I'm living this. It's awesome. I want it for everyone so desperately. I want it for everyone. But, this is why like you can get plugged into a church. You can get plugged in with friends, community. Pray about it. If you are literally not even hearing what I'm saying about God and you're like, because you don't know God, find ways to understand this text, understand the Bible, understand the knowledge that is associated with this. It's all love. It's real, true love. And community in the context of Christianity and the love of Christ, and not just religion. I'm talking about your relationship with Jesus and sharing that love with other people, because that's the most important thing. I mean, in my group, we have different denominations. We have a Catholic woman. We have someone else in something else. I think it was another Catholicism. But we all love Jesus and we are all together. It doesn't matter. What we know is the Bible, the truth, the word, the life. So confessing your sins to one another. I mean, this brings me back to that conversation that I was just saying. Instead of like our friendships that we just sit down and talk about other people, what are you struggling with? This is the Christian community we're in. What are you struggling with this week? How can I help you? Or confessing my sin. Like I did this week. I cussed. I swore and I was loving it, and I need to confess because I don't normally do that anymore. And I struggled this week with that. And then your friends would affirm you and be like, and just tell you that they'll pray for you to remove the death of the tongue and speak life into you, and just pray to God together and make sure that you know that you're seen and you're heard. And these people all relate to you. We're all sinners. We're all Christians trying to do the best that we can to see the gates of heaven. But sometimes we fall short as human beings. And having a Christian community allows you to speak about your struggle, or even just sitting in, like, if you don't want to talk about it, because like you said, if you have friends that don't like to talk about it, in a Christian community, we would just sit and pray with you and pray that you come to the understanding that you can speak about your struggle and that we are here for you and that we love you. Wouldn't you want it to be known that you're loved and provided for in a comfort setting and taken care of, and that if there's something that we can do. If you need to lay on my couch and stay the night, if you need me to cook a meal, my house is open for you. Like, that type of thing is what a Christian community and our people, the one body, will say to one another. And that's why it's so important that just looking at the way that the world has friendships and community, it's like non-existent almost. And that's why I'm saying, like, take that virtual reality headset off. If you're living in that side of the world, take it off. And look at the beauty and the gift that this is, this community, this Christian community. If you struggle, especially with feeling alone, you need this. If you are struggling with your faith and your journey, you just started like how I did a couple of months ago, you need this too. If you are seasoned by different types of salt at all, like you're at a Bible study already, you're at a church already, your mom loves God and you hang out with your mom, it's like, great, but you also keep opening your eyes to see that more salt is better. More community, being plugged in and loving community, and just being understood that you are the foot while I'm the hand, and we work together. And sharing your gift and your knowledge and your love of Jesus can change someone else's love and knowledge and understanding of Jesus. And your in-depth knowledge might just help a new believer to see the light and to see God in a new light and to want to know him more and to want to be plugged in. And we open up our group to whomever loves God or just wants to know more or is like a family member that just wants to hang out. Like, even if they're just hanging out, they're hearing the testimonies of the group of the love of God. And that is far better than if you were just sitting and getting drunk with a friend and not even discussing the importance of your life. First, having community, the love of community, and also sharing that communicative stuff that I had mentioned about caring about one another. It's emphasized in the Bible how important it is. James chapter 5, verse 19, if any one of you should wander from the truth and someone should bring that person back, remember this, whoever turns a sinner from the error of their ways will save them from death and cover a multitude of ways. And this is important. I'm going to read the next two. And keep going. Matthew chapter 18, verse 12. What do you think? If a man, this is Jesus speaking, if a man owns 100 sheep and one of them wander away, will he not leave the 99 on the hills and go look for the one that wandered off? And if so, he finds it, which is the sheep. Truly, I tell you, he is happier about that one sheep than about the 99 that did not wander off. In the same way, your Father in heaven is not willing that any of these little ones should perish. So we're going to unpack this. Okay, the video is really slow. It's weird. Let's unpack that. So James 5:19, if any of you should wander, and then Matthew 18:12 is talking about wandering too. If a person wanders, so we're talking about the context of Christian community. We're talking about it in James, and we're talking about it in Matthew. If someone wanders and a person brings them back, what they're doing is saving them from death. Okay? So let's say my Christian community, like, we're struggling this week. All of us are dealing with something. And I decide that my mental health is so bad, I'm not even going to show up. As a Christian community, you should be reaching out to the person. Like, if it was me, I'd have people reaching out to me, are you okay? How come you didn't show up today? Like, can we come pick you up? Like, are you okay? Or if I go ghost for a couple weeks and I'm not responding to my group that's meeting, or, you know, those types of things, or I don't show up to church that day. As a Christian, though, we are called to make sure and protect our own and to come and find them if they're struggling and wandering off. If you are wandering off could also mean stepping back into this side. This side was where I was pointing to the virtual reality headset, that type of thing, where everyone's just getting drunk. Like, I could be a Christian and I could wander off and go start drinking with my buddies, and because I'm like, I'm struggling, like, this is what I know. If you are plugged into Christian community, we as a Christian community are called to go and get you, to knock on your door, to text you, to call you, to say, I love you, what's going on, are you okay? And to be shown that you are the salt of the earth, that you are important. You do not have this virtual reality headset on. We see you. We love you. We know you. We want to make sure you're okay. And instead of thinking that you don't matter, we're going to make sure that you know that you matter and you are of vital importance. And there are times where people have had testimonies where that person that went and got them from wandering off saved them. Because the second they step back into that, they're going to feel the weight of the world again. And the world isn't going to give them that love. And the world is the worldly community that just lets you walk by and people think that you're not important to them and that you aren't connected in the world. And that gas pump was just created for me. It's like, no, you'll never be affirmed in that way unless we make a change and follow what the Christian model is. To be affirmed and to be loved and told and made sure, like, you missed this week. We were worried about you. Like, what's going on? How can we help you when you're feeling that way so that the next time you don't feel that you have to be pulled away from us and secluded and set and hanging out in your mind so much, and like all of this despair starts coming back up, because that's what it is. Those are attacks on our mind, and we sometimes will seclude because we feel that that's right, but the Bible says we don't do that. We are a community. We are the salt of the earth. You show up regardless. And that's when you can be taken care of by us. We will pray for you. That was what was said in James chapter 5, verse 16. We'll pray for one another so that you are healed. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. Whew. Gosh, I love that one. In Matthew chapter 18, verse 12 is when Jesus was saying, if a man owns 100 sheep, and the 99 sheep are just hanging out on the hill, but the one wandered off, he knows, because sheep are historically, like, we're thinking about biblical times. The context is that sheep herding, and sheep were expensive back in the day, and sheep also were dumb. So they were ignorant to the understanding of things. Like, they looked to the shepherd, who is Jesus in this context, was the shepherd, and that they followed Jesus. In this parable here, in this understanding, if 99 sheep are set and they're just going to stay there because that's what they know, and then the one that wandered off, shepherd's going to go find that one because their sheep are expensive, aka we as human beings are expensive. We as a community are expensive, and we can't have one wander off. The shepherd will go and bring that one back, and he is delighted to have that one back because sheep are expensive and they are of value. And if we think about that as ourselves, we will understand that in Christian community, if we don't know this already, we are all valuable pieces here. We cannot be 100 without the one. We would just be 99. And the shepherd will go and find you. And as a community, we need to go and find each other and bring each other back. And it's just specifying that that's what God does for us. You wander off, he will make a way for you to come back. I mean, literally, the book of Jonah. Jonah got swallowed up by a whale. Jonah did not want to do what God was calling him to do. Jonah got swallowed up by a whale and stayed inside the whale for a couple of days until God spit him right back out at the same place that he began to run from. So God will find a way. And we can be obedient vessels and obedient Christian believers and followers and friends and sisters and brothers, and we can go find that person that wandered off and make sure that they're okay. And that's what we're called to do. You know, none of this, like, afraid to speak about friendships, afraid to speak about the feelings. It's like in the world, Christian community is like, we are focused on the group as a whole, and each person has importance. And we are to make sure that we are calling one another and checking in and bringing you back home. That's where you belong, is with us, with each other. And yeah, some people are going to say, I'm antisocial. Like, none of that sounds good. Well, that's the thing. You're not, though. You weren't created that way. Yeah, you can have introvert tendency. What God created you to have is this Christian community, love, support. You can be introverted and still know that you need community. I've gotten a lot of extroversion back since my journey, and since I stopped drinking alcohol and like learning about myself, but like an introvert also as a Christian follower knows that they need community. We have people in my Bible study, my group studies that just sit, and some of them sometimes they don't talk. We allow them to speak, and we invite them to speak, and we call on them to speak, because you have to get out of your own way to be able to see the beauty that is community. The last part is 1 Corinthians 12, verse 26. And whether one member suffers, all the members suffer with it. Or one member be honored, all the members rejoice with it. So I have seen this in my life. My friends and I had just gotten baptized this week, and being baptized is a major thing inside of your belief and your faith and understanding, because you're being washed entirely of the person that you were before, and Jesus is making you to be a brand new creation. Through him you are able to start anew. And we had 3 of our members be baptized together, myself and 2 of my friends included. And we all as a group were there. There was a couple of people that were already baptized. There were other women in this group that weren't even a part of this church or have a different belief or have a different denomination of the church. They still showed up because, like in 1 Corinthians 12:26, whether one member is honored, all members rejoice. And we emulated that. We had the entire group with us. And that is what we are truly called to be. It's like you look around and, yeah, I didn't know any of these people, or I didn't know half of these women before we started our Bible study together a couple of months ago. And now they're my sisters, brothers and sisters in Christ, and we love each other, and we know that, and we represent for one another, and we care for one another. And if you're upset, I'm upset. How can I pray for you? Or if you're getting baptized and it's such a rejoiceful thing, I'm going to show up and I'm going to be so proud of you, and you will see that I care about you, because showing up and caring about one another and loving one another is what we are called to be, what we're called to do, who we are to be. And that is just so beautiful. It's something that I've never had before. I've been in friendships and groups of people, but nothing like a Christian community feels this way and is this way. So that is where I want to lead into speaking about how you can find Christian community, because of the importance. And I hope it encouraged you, this message. The first thing I want you to do if you're questioning and trying to find a way to find Christian community is pray about it. First and foremost, pray about it and understand that you are not alone in this. Everyone wants community, and especially if you're getting rooted in the Word, aka the Bible, and you're starting to develop a relationship with God, pray about it to find a way to, God will move mountains for you as a follower. God will literally bring in people that you would least expect it to bring you to find your community. God will use people to get you to where you are. And for me, that was standing true. I mean, I literally kept praying about it, and all of a sudden I have a group of 7 that are my best friends, and that we love God, and we speak about God, and we just sit and bask and giggle and laugh and be so silly and pure with one another. That is what it's all about. And I pray for you if you are listening and you're like, wow, that sounds awesome. Like, it really is. And you will find it. And sometimes you need to be the one to also put yourself out there. So I have a couple of friends that have reached out to me for an understanding of what I do with my Bible study, how they can get it started. You could be the one that is the forager, the one that, like my friend that reached out to me, you could be the one that's like, I need community. Like, who loves Jesus? and start asking like, hey, I see you post about God. Like, have you ever, or do you want to come and hang out? Like, let's talk about God. Or do you want to do a Bible study, or let's go get coffee? And then it just starts to develop into something. And he wants us to have community, and he wants us to be plugged in with one another, and for you to show someone that you love them, and for them to show you that they love you, and work together and to just be in union and be one body. God literally outlines that through Jesus, and Jesus teaching us that we are to have that. He wants that for us. If you are to just pray on it, that's the best way to start. If you're in a local church, if you're in a church, or let's say if you're not, a church is a good place to find fellow believers as well. It can be intimidating. There are women on TikTok that church hop for other people to experience and know if this church is good for them. And you could just go and explore a church. One thing I did want to say is, if you don't have Christian community quite yet, but you're like me, where I had my boyfriend and we would talk about God together, I want you to know that you are affirmed in this way, where Jesus said to us in Matthew chapter 18, verse 20, "For where two or more are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst of them." So, yes, we are called to be the salt of the earth, and each one of us is a component of the body, the hand, the foot, the mouth, the ears, the nose. But this is a reminder from Jesus that he says to us that if two believers, two Christian fellow believers, two people that are on fire for the Lord are with each other and gathered and speaking and praying and just existing with one another, sharing the love, he is in the midst of them. And that verse has carried me since the beginning of my journey, because of the fact that I didn't have Christian community to start. But yet this gives me the understanding, this spiritual acknowledgement, this unseen aspect of the spirit realm, that Jesus literally is with us when there's two or more that are gathered in his name. So my boyfriend and I talking and loving on Jesus and loving the journey that we've had and our testimonies and all of these things just regarding our love for Jesus, Jesus was there. When two or more are gathered in my name. And if you want that verse to carry you through it, keep repeating it. For where two or more are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them. And I literally drew a heart next to it because that's just love. You're not alone. You're never alone. And looking to have that community context and being immersed into it is what God wants you to do. And it's going to take you to step outside of that virtual reality you're living in on this side of the world. But you got to come over here, because look at this beautiful thing that you have. You will never feel alone. Your struggle is my struggle. What you are rejoicing in and are proud of and happy about, I am. And so are the other 6 or 12 or 32, whatever number it may be that you are with. You are the salt of the earth. God made you with so much importance. And I love you, and I thank you for allowing me to speak on this platform and to give you the love and share the love that I have for Jesus. And yes, I was just recently baptized. My heart is on fire for the Lord. And this message, I just wrote down verses to go over. The rest, that virtual reality, like everything, is the Holy Spirit speaking through me to you. And I just have to say I'm so grateful, and thank you for spending the night and whatever you're doing, whether you're driving, maybe if you're driving long distance, because I talk a lot, or if you were cleaning dishes, or you're just watching this and listening to in different parts of your day, thank you. Thank you for listening and tuning in, and I pray that this message reached you, and I hope everyone has an authentically divine week, and enjoy the rest of your day. And that's all. I just hope you have an authentically divine week and you get closer to God. Have a great night, everyone.